Hi Bumblebees! Welcome to Storytime with Bukky here in the Bumblebees Kenya reading room. Maybe you're wondering why I'm fanning myself like this today. Well, to be honest, on my way here, I had a great and grand adventure. My car broke down. How could that turn into an adventure? Well, when my car broke down today in Farasi Lane, I bumped into 6 girls. And when I bumped into them, a very ordinary event turned into something quite spectacular. So my car broke down and I was very sad because I didn't know how to fix it. I had my toolbox, but there was nothing in it. And so I sat on the side of the road wondering what I needed to do when 6 girls came by me. One of the girls came up to me and asked me why I looked so sad. I explained to her something had happened to my car and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have a toolbox full of tools. But she said to me, "Don't worry, young lady. My mama is a mechanic. Mama likes to know how things are put together and how they work. Her job is to service and fix cars. Mama wears overalls at work. She does not mind getting dirty. She opens the bonnet or goes under the car to examine the engine. Sometimes Mama hooks the car to a computer to check the engine. Mama replaces parts that are broken inside the car. She fixes dents and polishes the car. She makes sure the car is well oiled so it runs smoothly. Mama loves her job because it suits her. I think my mama will be able to help you with your car." So I said, "Let's call your mama. I think your mama will be able to help me with my car." So we started to call her. And as I was waiting for her mama to pick up the phone, we heard a loud noise down the road. There was a great commotion. So we decided to go and find out what had happened. Us and everyone else in the street, as we went down the road towards a truck, we found that there had been an accident. There was a boda man lying on the floor and a truck driver who seemed to be very confused. Everyone was shouting. It wasn't clear what had happened. And when we asked the boda man what had happened, he couldn't remember his name and he couldn't remember what had happened. So we looked at the truck driver, but the truck driver couldn't speak, so he couldn't explain what had happened either. So, as we were looking around, we noticed that there was a young man in the back of the crowd who was thoughtfully scraping his beard. Unbeknownst to us, this young man was a boy that everyone in the neighborhood knows. His name was Rude Boy. Rude Boy was a troublemaker in the neighborhood. He was a real troublemaker, one of the bad boys. Rude Boy thought to himself, there may be an opportunity for me to make money from this situation. So Rude Boy pushed his way to the front of the crowd and he said this: "This truck driver struck the boda guy, and the boda guy is my employee. I own the bike and he works for me. The truck driver needs to pay." "Oh," the crowd said, "that's terrible, that's terrible. How do you know this? I saw the whole thing." So, having said that, someone said, "Well, we need to call the police, but does anyone know one?" So one of the girls who came to help me with my car then said, "My mama is a police officer. Her job is to keep people and property safe. At work, Mama wears a blue uniform, black shoes and a hat. Mama is brave and honest. At work, she looks strict, so people take her seriously. She warns or arrests people who do not obey the law. She takes them to court. She writes many reports. To do her work well, Mama exercises every day. She jogs, does sit-ups and push-ups. She says it is important to keep fit and healthy. When Mama is at home, she smiles a lot and takes care of our family. Mama loves her job." "Well," said the crowd, "that sounds like the lady that we need to come in and sort this issue out." So the young girl called her mom, and when her mom came, She assessed the situation, heard the story from Rude Boy, and said to the truck driver, "Truck driver, you need to get a lawyer because this needs to go to court." The truck driver cried. He started to cry. Mama looked at him and said, "Why is he crying?" She asked the truck driver, "Do you have a lawyer?" He shook his head because he couldn't speak. Another one of the little girls who came to help me said, "Don't worry, Mr. Truck Driver. My mama is a lawyer. Her job is to defend and advise clients who have been accused of not obeying the law so that they get a fair trial in court. Mama wears smart suits to work. She advises those who are accused of a crime. They are her clients. In court, she explains their side to the judge. She has to know all the facts about her client and about the case so she can give good advice. Sometimes she hires a private investigator to find out things that can help her clients. Mama is good at talking and debating with those who do not agree with her. To keep up to date about the law, Mama reads a lot and writes many reports. My mama says she is a lifelong student. Mama loves her job." So the little girl asked him, "Can I call my mama to help you?" And he nodded his head. So they all went to the courtrooms to stand before the judge and to hear the cases that were going before them. Now, as they were there, waiting for the court trial to start, one of the little girls said to another little girl, "Isn't your mama a judge?" And she said, "Yes, my mama is a judge. Her job is to decide if someone has broken the law. If they have, she punishes them. At work, Mama wears a white wig and black robes. She sits on a high chair in court. She listens carefully to those who have been accused of breaking the law. She listens to the evidence brought by lawyers and policemen. Mama thinks about what is presented to her in court and decides if someone has not obeyed the law. Mama punishes them by making them pay a fine, or she sends them to jail for a period of time. She writes her judgment for every case in a report. Mama loves her job." Just as she finished explaining what her mama did, the judge came into the courtroom and the trial began. They tried to listen to the boda driver, but he was still confused and he still didn't know his name. And no one could understand the gestures that the truck driver was making with his hands because he couldn't speak. So eventually, the judge said, "Is there an interpreter here who can help us understand?" That's when the sixth little girl said, "My mama is a sign language interpreter. Her job is to use sign language to help people who are deaf or hearing impaired understand what is being said. Mama translates spoken language into sign language. She uses her fingers, hands, mouth, and body movements to convert spoken words into special gestures that those who are deaf can understand. Mama also translates the words of those who are deaf into spoken words for those who do not understand sign language. Sometimes Mama works in big meetings where she stands in front of crowds and uses sign language so that those who are deaf can understand what is going on. Mama learned sign language in college. She says that with special support, those living with disability can be as productive and happy as anyone else. Mama loves helping people understand each other. Mama loves her job. Well, let's call her to help us solve this mystery." And while they waited for the sixth girl's mom to come, Rude Boy took the stand and explained the story, how his boda driver had been hit by the truck driver, and how now the truck driver needed to pay. Well, eventually the sign language interpreter came, and she interpreted what the truck driver was trying to say with his hands. And when she had done that, she explained to everyone in the courtroom. The truck driver had parked by the side of the road near the walkway, and he had decided to go and get a snack from the kiosk. When he was getting out of his car, he didn't notice that a boda boda driver was driving on the pathway and he hit him by mistake. The judge looked at the situation and said, well, clearly this was an unfortunate accident, and the boda boda driver should never have been driving on the walkway. Well, this means one thing. Rude boy must pay the fine. He must pay for the accident, he must pay the truck driver's fees, and he must train his employees better. Rude boy had a rude shock and said, I'm sorry, I can't pay for this. I lied. This is not my employee. I don't know the boda boda driver. But unfortunately, because the boda boda driver was confused and there was no evidence of any other truth, he had to pay. And with that, I say thank you for joining us for another session of Storytime. Today, I combine my own made-up story with the story of Muthoni Muchemi, the lady who has written this book. It's called Mama is a Mechanic and outlines all the wonderful jobs that any woman can do and be a part of. We thank her for writing it because it's an encouragement to all us girls that no matter what you do, what you put your mind to, you can be anything you want to be when you grow up. Thank you for joining Bumblebees Kenya. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and have a lovely time wherever you are. Stay safe and stay fit.